The first Matrix movie, this is a review of the Matrix movies, the first three Matrix movies. And the first Matrix movie, we are introduced to a world where machines have taken over power over humans. They have become intelligent. And, artificial intelligence have gone too far. And now machines have taken humans prisoners, and because they didn't have enough solar power, they're actually using human bodies as energy. So they're keeping the humans in small cocoons to feed the machines the energy that they need. And this is an artificial world, and they're just pushing the right nerve transmitters so that humans can believe that they have a nice life. And this is interesting in many aspects. Like, for example, someone has likened it to the caves of Plato. Are you really living the real life? Do you know what the real life is? And also, yeah, like modern society, where we gonna go to work, we go home in our apartments that looks a little bit like these cocoons that you see in the movie, and then you go watch television for the rest of the evening. And is that life the way we could experience it, really? And yes, so it's kind of trying to show us that we are in a dreamlike state. We have not awakened to what really life is about. And Neo is he sees a glitch in the system. It's this cat that's passing, and then all of a sudden it's replaced with another cat. So he's kind of seeing that, okay, this dream state that I'm in is actually in a dream state. So he awakens, and the movie is all about his fight to win over the Matrix in some sort of way. And the whole story about he's being betrayed by some they have established this city called the Zion, which is kind of a real world outside of the Matrix. But then you have a traitor called Cypher, and he's kind of killing people because he thinks it's too hard. He thinks it's too hard to live in the real world. He wants back to the dream state. And that's when he tries to kind of subvert Trinity and Neo, but they kind of win over him, and they succeed in also saving Neo. And in the end, they kind of they win over Smith in a way, which is the police trying to fight him, or the way I interpret it is his ego trying to drag him down, so he's no longer in his higher self. So he's kind of some type of savior, or they call him the One. And in the next movies, they kind of elaborate on these questions, and they're also they're discussing things like, what is control? In the Matrix, you're like very much controlled, 100% controlled. But then it's this discussion going about what is control, what is free will, do you have a choice, and so forth, which is kind of elaborated upon in the other movies. So after this short clip, I'm going to go into what the other movies, the other two movies, are about. So see you in the next clip. So this is the story about the third Matrix movie. No, the second Matrix movie. And Thomas Andersen is, of course, in his own brain, fighting his own demons. And what is happening is that he has decided to listen to his higher self, but now his ego is getting stronger. It's multiplying. The Smiths are becoming, they are cloning themselves. So he's kind of fighting his ego, which is getting stronger and stronger. And then he goes to the oracle that says that, okay, you made this decision to be your higher self. So you made that choice, but you don't know why. So you need the key maker. So the key maker is going to give him the answer to why he needs to do this. And while he's searching for the key maker, he meets this French guy, which is telling him that he's in the the feelings and emotions are controlling him. He's not able to. He's kind of defending everything with logic and saying it's rational, but actually, as a matter of fact, he demonstrates that we're driven by emotions. And when he is kind of fighting the Frenchman, we're in like the stairs of Scarface, in the movie Scarface, and then we also see Michael Jackson on the television in the background. So it's like, okay, so if you can't master your own mind, you'll become greedy like Al Pacino, and you will actually not love yourself. Like, it's like a trap to kind of become listen to the ego. So you have to fight the ego. So that's kind of probably the reason then. There's a lot of fighting and mayhem going on. And actually, in the end, with the help of the keymaker, he is in the end able to access the one room where you can get the answer. And the answer is actually he meets the architect. The architect, now he's inside his brain, inside his big building where there are a lot of doors. So Smiths are coming out of all the doors. So his ego is kind of fighting to prevail. But in the end, he manages to find that one door where he enters that room where he meets the architect. And the architect is telling him that, okay, Zion, the Matrix has been destroyed several times. And every time they're trying to build a new and better Matrix, but haven't been able to do that. And that's, and then you see how he's been deficient in his responses all these other times that the Matrix have been destroyed. And now Zion is being destroyed once again. But in the end scene, you see that Smith is also joining. Because Neo is allowed to bring 12 men and 12 women or something to this new world that is going to be built after the Matrix is destroyed. And then in the concluding scene, you see that Smith is also coming with him, which means that, okay, you still have your ego. You're not getting away from your ego. And so it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the third movie. This is a review of the third Matrix movie. In the third Matrix movie, Neo has become Jesus. The people of Zion, which is the city built by human beings outside of the Matrix, they are bringing him gifts and offerings. But at the same time, in this movie, Zion is on the verge of breaking down. People, the human beings are at war with the machines. The last movie we saw that the architects keep building these matrices and trying to improve them, but each time he fails, and each time he sends Neo and a few other people to build a new city, a new Zion. And but on board with him on this journey came a traitor that nobody knew was a Smith. He's a Smith in disguise. So he came along for the ride, and now this story is, of course, going on in Thomas Andersen's the game developer's head. It's his struggle between his higher self and his lower vibrations, and these lower vibrations are the Smiths. They are in the last movie we saw how Smith was personified by greed, the staircase of Scarface, the Scarface movie, and we also saw the Smith's we saw also the face of Michael Jackson. So like self-hatred is also one of the Smiths, one aspect of the ego. And every Smith is a negative trait of the ego, of course, like anger, conceit, selfishness, etc. But what happens in the third movie is that the Smiths are multiplying. Smith has become a virus and turns everything into Smith, even the Oracle, and that threatens to destroy Zion. So in the end, this will actually lead to the downfall of Zion and even the downfall of the Matrix. Yes, so and what's also happening in the movie is this brutal war with the machines, and Zion is in the verge of collapse. The only hope is Neo and Trinity, which is in this spaceship on their way to Machine City to persuade the machines to let Neo fight Smith. But inside of the spaceship, there's the traitor, and he looks like one of Zion's inhabitants. But what he's doing, he attacks Trinity, and then he attacks Neo, and he thinks he has killed him, but then he doesn't kill him. He just tries to blind. He succeeds in blinding Neo, and then Neo kills him. So Neo survives, but now he can't see. But then he but he can actually see, probably through his third eye then, because he can only see. He doesn't have his eyes to see anymore, but he can see light and shadow, kind of. Yes. So actually, remember that in the beginning of the movie, we saw that Neo was in this liminal space at the train station where he's in between two worlds. He was nowhere, and then we had some interest. He met this man and his daughter and his wife, and they started this interesting conversation about concepts, about purpose, about love, and what this man says is that, okay, so these are only concepts, and purpose is different from love. I am going to leave my daughter here to never see her again, to go to work for the Merovingian, and that is because he loves his daughter. So that's kind of selfless love, unconditional love. And then he asks, isn't this all what we are striving for? Isn't this what we want? And the Oracle kind of says something of the same, but she also says that, okay, we are all longing for the source. We want to go to the source, to the one, which that's kind of the secret. We have to fight the ego to get there. And so, in a way, this film is about love. It's about selflessness and sacrifice. And on his way to the Machine City, where Neo is persuading the machines that he will fight the Smiths. He will fight the ego. He actually there's a big battle going on with thousands of Smiths fighting Neo, and in the end, the Neo commits ego death. He kind of sacrifices, and what that does is that it obliterates all the Smiths. every Smith is obliterated, and that way Zion can prevail and live on. And it means that, you know, Neo kills himself to save Zion. He kills his ego. He experiences ego death. Maybe he took a large overdose of LSD, or maybe he just became Jesus. And that's kind of how it ends. Like, you see how he kind of disappears into this cross of light. So there's kind of the way I see it, it's he becomes Jesus, self-sacrifices for the people. And so I understand this movie to be about love, like selflessness, and how you have to kind of fight the ego to get there. And also about what, you know, intuition and the source, and how you cannot get there through multiplying your ego. That's a trap. And you have to look through the egos in disguise, you know, pretending to be the good guy, but that is still a Smith, and that's kind of the challenge. And when you can look through all that, then maybe you can beat the ego. So yeah, thanks.